The crisis of illegal immigration is often seen as one of excess supply. But, especially for working mothers in America, the problem is increasingly the opposite. In 2007, the population of undocumented immigrants in America reached a peak, at about 12.2 meters people. By 2016 that had fallen to 10.7 meters. A recent paper suggests that one result of that fall has been a rising cost in the services that working mothers need to combine employment and running a home in a society that still expects women take the lead in childcare. Undocumented immigrants account for about 5% of America's overall workforce. But they are a far more significant source of labor for household services, accounting for 22% of workers in private households, and 24% of maids and housekeepers. That suggests efforts to control undocumented workers will have a particularly big effect on skilled women with children, the group of Americans most likely to need and be able to afford help at home. Get our daily newsletter, upgrade your inbox, and get our daily dispatch and editor's picks. Chloe East and Andrea Velasquez of the University of Colorado studied the impact of local enforcement efforts against undocumented immigrants, focusing on the consequences for household service workers. They looked at the rollout of a program known as 287E, which deputized local law enforcement agencies to enforce immigration law. They also looked at the Secure Communities (SC) program, which required the fingerprints of all individuals booked in jail to be sent to Immigration and Customs Enforcement to be run against records of immigration applicants. The policies were credited with more than 500,000 deportations and detentions between 2005 and 2012. Ms. East and Ms. Velasquez found that as the programs were introduced and the supply of undocumented workers declined, the average household worker was paid more, especially women workers, who saw wages increase by about 2%. Another effect was that high-skilled American women ended up doing some of the work previously done by the now missing workers. On average, high-skilled American women spend 5.6 hours per week on activities related with childcare compared to 2.9 hours for men. The gap is even larger for men and women with young children. And when the supply of childcare services was reduced, mothers took on most of the additional responsibilities. The researchers found no significant effects of Secure Communities and the 287E program on college-educated women without children or college-educated men. But for college-educated women with children under the age of 6, the average number of hours spent on household activities including cooking, cleaning and watching children increased by about 70 minutes per week as the law enforcement measures were rolled out. There was a reduction in leisure time by a little more than that. And college-educated women also worked outside the home less. For the sample of women with young children, the reduction in the proportion working was particularly large, almost half a percentage point. This disproportionate benefit of undocumented labor to American working women may be one reason why women tend to be more sympathetic to immigrants who are in America illegally than men are. A Pew poll found that 74% of women were sympathetic compared to 64% of men. And President Donald Trump's repeated railings against undocumented immigrants may have contributed to his persistently low approval ratings among women. A wish to improve his standing with female voters, however, is unlikely to encourage him to change his tone on illegal immigrants.